Slinging seeds, sliding on into home, throwing heat, buddy, we're going, gone. If you gotta go down, you gotta go down, swinging, slinging seeds. It's America's favorite pastime. Come on, let's have a good time, slinging seeds. Yeah, we're just slinging seeds.
Hey everybody, welcome to another week of Slinging Seeds. I'm your host, Kyle Evans, and across the table from me is my co-host, Doug Adams, and our very special guest today is 2026 commit Drake Sauber and his father, Matt Sauber. How's it going, guys?
It's going great.
Going well. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. Doug, go ahead and give us a little bit of a background on this.
So Drake came to our program when he was in the 8th grade, 14U. Been here a long time. Was a much different looking athlete back then. He's come a really long way as a player. He's played for Brian Corbett and Tyler Vinters in the summertime. And they've had a really good run with that group. And, that group's a little different in the way they do things and how tight they are and all those things, how they always hang out together. And, Matt has become a really good friend of mine throughout this process, and we talk almost every day. And obviously, one of my favorite things about Matt is he's probably the most like me of our parent group, where you get exactly the truth 100% all the time.
Yeah.
Whether you want it or not.
And it offends some people, and other people really like it. Right? Like I'm one of those. I prefer that. So it's I have a special relationship with the family for sure.
Absolutely. I remember coming on when I first got here. I think you were 15U. You were playing up with Doug at it was a Kings tournament.
Yeah, Kimba now.
Yeah.
Back then it was WCBC.
Yeah.
We played turn 2 in the championship game.
Yeah, it was, and it's awesome to kind of see from that point the young 15-year-old Drake Sauber to now.
With hair out to here.
The pro. The pro.
Yeah, the movement, it looked like a baby giraffe running around. So bad.
So go ahead and get us started with our first
Yeah,
question.
so I think the first thing I want to do is I want to start with you, Drake, and let's just get right into it. You had some other opportunities. You had some guys that were very interested. You had some coaches that watched you play almost every game this summer, right? And tell us why Akron.
Well, first off, I just want to appreciate all the coaches that have helped me along the process, whether it was college coaches or Kyle and Doug, Frank, Sam, all that. Just the reason I picked Akron is, I was really tight with the coaching staff, Coach Eversole. Him and I have been talking for a really long time. He was one of my first ones. And then once he made that move to Akron, it was kind of in my head, like, hey, if this guy wants me on board, then I'm down for sure. So we went to the camp, and after that, I had a pretty good camp. And they showed me around, just showed me a couple of the facility, the indoor. We took our campus tour, the indoor, got to see down in the locker room, and then we went back to Akron, I think the next week. And literally a week after, and I got to see everything more in depth, just the recovery machines that they have. Talk a little bit about program philosophy. Coach Falls did a really good job explaining that, and I really liked what they were about. So he tossed the paper over to me, and I didn't really need much time to think about it because I already thought about it for a week. So I was ready to go. Campus life was great. It's just there's a lot to do there.
So as he's going through that process, Matt, you and Laura are out there trying to watch him go through that process, right? And you had a little bit more info than he did before you went back up.
Yeah.
So what was that process like from a parent perspective, watching him go up to that camp? We all know how you felt going up there and all that stuff. What was that process like?
It's hard, right? Not easy to see your kid, kind of wanting to know what's going on, but they can't know what's going on, right? He knows what his end goals are, and he knows that in order to do that, that he felt like this is the place he wanted to go. right? And just watching him kind of navigate through that, the frustration that's there, the frustration is real. Um, and just, I guess, not really knowing what's going to happen, right? Drake's the kind of kid, I feel like he wants to be in control of the situation, right? And he's not at that point. And he gets that honest. His mom and I are both that way. But I just felt like just watching him kind of, I don't want to say struggle necessarily, but just not knowing what was going to happen, and just watching your son kind of question some things that you knew he probably shouldn't be questioning.
That's great. So my next question, well, my question, my follow-up, is kind of for both of you. You spoke about Coach Eversole. Doug and I are really good friends with Mike. We've had him on the pod twice now. Really, really respect him. I would like for both of you to kind of give me your thoughts on Coach Eversole and why you decided to travel with him.
I mean, really, out of any coach I've ever talked to, he's probably had like the most energy. He's just a really genuine person, and I see myself having real conversations with him. Uh, Energy was no step beast, but from the first call until still now, uh, and it's when we go up there, it's kind of like having two Eversols because Coach Valentine looks exactly like him. So I think that's great. They're gonna hear that. They're gonna hear that a lot from me and just the other commits that I've talked to. But just the relationship, it's always been there, and it's always been 100%.
What about you, Matt?
For me, so I've spoken to Coach Eversole a few times, obviously, prior to him being at Akron, talked to him before when he went on a visit. We went and watched the game, talked to him there a little bit, and then, talked to him at Akron and everything, and watching the podcasts. And I mean, I'm just of the opinion, how do you not love a guy like Mike Eversole, right? Like the guy's just genuine, and I don't see him being the type of guy that blows smoke, right?
Oh no.
At all, at all.
Not Mike.
He's going to tell you what he thinks and how it is, and I can't think of a better person or better type of coach that I want my son to be around and to play for 4 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, Folds has had success everywhere he's been, right? So, and obviously, Akron is not where it's going to be, and obviously, the list of transfers they brought in this year, holy cow, you know what I mean? The D2 home run leader is now at Akron, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I could go down a list of multiple guys, right? So, tell us a little bit about the picture and what you see Akron becoming. I know it was important to you to go to a program where you could leave a mark, right? And I know you did that kind of with us, right? You kind of helped our program go to another level. We'll get a little bit more into that, but tell us a little bit about what you think Coach Falls is going to bring to Akron.
I mean, like you said, he's had success everywhere he's went. Ever since he took the job at Akron, it's just been progressively climbing. I mean, we talked about it at the post visit meeting. He started at Akron, and they were almost like next to nothing, and then ever since then, it's just been each season 5 more wins, 5 more wins, 5 more wins, and he just sees that going up, and if a coach like that can continue to prove that, like, why not trust him? He's got a great taste in coaching staff. So that just says a lot about
That
the
coaching
coach.
staff is loaded.
Yeah. Says a lot about him. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I agree. Tell us a little bit about your recruiting journey. The good part about my job is that I get to see a lot of things from behind the scenes, but I don't get to see everything. And I can remember, I think the drive up to Indianapolis, we were on how many phone calls, just trying to help guys out getting placed.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about the relationship that you have with Doug and that you have with Frank and how they've helped you through this process.
I mean, yeah, we'll start with Doug just because he's here. Doug and I have had countless hundreds of conversations about different recruiting, different places he sees me at, different places that I had in my mind. Um, I mean, if you want to go wherever you want to go, text Doug. I mean, he'll fight for you. I mean, he's done it for everybody that I've ever seen, and will continue to do it. That's why he does this job. So yeah, he's really helped me along the entire way, putting me in contact with coaches, telling me what he thinks, but he's not pushing me to make a decision for him. He's pushing me to make a decision for myself and letting me make my own decision. So that really helps because it's a lot of pressure off me getting his opinion, but you don't always have to take his opinion. You can form your own opinion however you want. With Frank, I've hit with him. He's had conversations with coaches, called Coach Eversole at one point. So that was a great conversation really early in the morning. Um, and he's sent video out, he's taken video, given me a couple shout outs, come to a couple games. I mean, Doug's done that too. They don't have to do that, but they do it anyways for us.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I mean, love those guys. Frankie stays up late just thinking about stuff like that. So,
oh yeah.
Matt, what are your, from your perspective as the father, tell us a little bit about your experience.
So kind of like Doug alluded to earlier, we text or talk regularly. I have no doubt in my mind that his best interest was Drake and where to get him. We had conversations. I mean, let's be honest. Drake's goal for the last 4 years has been to play D1 baseball. At one point, we had a conversation. Drake and I did. Doug and I did. Doug, Drake, and I did. About how if he wants to go D1, he can still get there. The path might be different. Because recruiting is significantly different now than it was. And I hear comments made all the time, we talked about it and we've talked about it and we talked about it, how, the 26 class, you feel bad for them. But I think because everything happened prior to them getting there, it wasn't as bad as it could have been, right? It's probably worse for the 23s and 24s.
And 25.
And 25s.
Was better
Yeah.
than bad, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
because they didn't, it was so up in the air,
Yep,
right?
for sure.
Oh, we were studying.
Yeah. So, but just knowing that Doug's not gonna call a coach and talk to him and tell him that Drake can do certain things if he can't do them,
Right.
right? He's not gonna make his reputation questionable. Frank's not gonna make his reputation questionable, right? So when they call a coach, they're gonna be honest with them because that's gonna come back to them at some point, whether they were right or they were wrong, right? And I feel like when Doug calls a coach and talks to him, or Frank calls a coach and talks to him, and they just talk about Drake as a person, they talk about Drake as a baseball player, um, they're kind of the same,
Yeah.
right? Like Drake's going to work hard, Doug's going to tell him that, and they can see that, right? So just knowing that the best interest of my son is there, and honestly with P4, the success of our boys helps P4 grow, right? Helps us become a better organization. And so, that's significant. And those are things that that Doug has to do, Frank has to do to continue to grow the program.
Yeah, I mean, I love the full transparency between you two. I mean, you and Frank, it's just never, you're getting exactly what you get.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, him and I, me and Frank will even go at it, right? If it's at the best interest of a player, right?
Yep.
Never in front of the player. Like nobody's ever seen me and Frank,
Yeah, but at the
keep
same
it
time,
perfect.
like,
And I think that's important, right? You have to have that ability to communicate from two different ends. If me and Frank were the exact same person, there wouldn't be a need for one of us. Right. I do certain things really, really well that Frank does other things really, really well. You know what I mean? And then there's some stuff that neither one of us are great at, right? And we outsource that.
right.
You know what I mean? Like we outsource that to you or Juan or Sam or whatever to fill in the holes, right? Yeah, so that's awesome.
I think I love that piece though too. Like, even though you guys are maybe bickering about a player, what are you doing? I mean, you're sitting there and you're putting every little bit of what you have into a
Yeah,
player.
you've heard those conversations.
Yeah, and it's
So this is what this player can do. Well, I think this player can do this. Well, this player can't do this. Well, he can't do this. Okay, well, how do we fix that? We'll send him with this person. Oh, how do you fix that? Oh, you send him with this person, right? And all those things. So no, it's awesome. You know what I mean? I guess so. The next thing for you is your recruiting was very, very different. because you're probably as raw as I've been around
Mhm.
3, 4 years ago, right? So you were a guy who wanted to be a Division One baseball player, and we knew that was the goal, right? Obviously, and that goes for a lot of people. So one of the things that I've always valued the most for you is your ability to plan. So we went to Ohio State, right, in the past, and I remember you ran a 7.32,
Mhm.
right? And it was like, okay, Drake, you're an outfielder. This has to be sub 6.6
Right.
for us to be to get a D1 offer. And I remember you and Sam started doing some stuff, and then like 2 weeks later, you ran a 7 flat or whatever,
Right.
right? And now you've worked on it constantly, and now you've had 3 official posted 60s under 6.6.
Mm.
Right now, you're running 6.5s, right? So tell us a little bit about that process with Sam and your development, and what you guys did, and what your plan was to cut off. You cut off over 7/10 of a second in your 60 in the last 14 months.
So, I mean, it kind of, so it's mainly started yesterday. Um, me and Sam and I have talked multiple times. He's just been telling me work on athletic workouts. Don't just stay in the weight room and do your progressive overload, squat, bench, deadlift, pull-ups. You need to incorporate fast movement, fast twitches in your lifts, whether it's landmine presses or working with bands and stuff. It doesn't always have to be weights, plyometrics, calisthenics. You just have to you kind of have to mix everything in and go day by day pretty much with how you feel, um, and do it to the best of your ability. Um, I'll be here Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with Sam from here on out, working even more, even harder. And I think it's just going to become so much easier with a guy that actually has a plan and knows what he's doing instead of me going to the local gym and looking up videos on how I can get better at this stuff and how I can get faster, more twitchy, and I just think he's really going to help out with all that stuff.
Yeah,
Vital resource.
yeah, I remember last year when you did the elite baseball group.
It was great.
Dude,
Yeah,
it's
we
so
were
awesome.
we were so yeah. That's when it set the bar.
My
That's
favorite
when
part about it on Wednesdays is I had to give up my area so he could do that group, so he had an area to train him.
yeah.
And so I could have went home 7 o'clock on Wednesday, and I never did because I just sat there for an hour and a half and watched that group train.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
Some other stuff, right? And I'm not trying to get on it. Is like, so as you saw him set that goal and cut off that big time on the 60, and now the way he's running, what was your process in that? I mean, I'm sure there was a lot on you and Laura trying to make sure he ate right and all those things. And,
I think Drake will probably tell you I've been on him for a couple of years about, making sure he gets enough sleep, right? Making sure he eats right. Um, I love to cook, so that's easy for me. So I can make him some good food, the right food that he needs to eat. Um, but my biggest thing is just he needs to understand the process. Um, he doesn't need me to do those things. He's
Yep.
got the coaches, right? My job now as a dad and is to just support him, to give him the resources that I can, um, and that Laura can. We work together a lot with this stuff, and just make sure that we keep Drake's best interest. We keep Drake's goals, and help him with them, as much as we can. Really right now, the biggest thing for us is we just kind of sit back and watch. We kind of sit back and enjoy what he's doing, and just really proud of him for what he does.
So recently, Doug has invited me to come to Clark State, so I don't have the headache of facing you 2 times this spring anymore. Just kidding. No,
sort of.
not kidding. uh, no, but I mean, tell us a little bit about the culture of Northmont baseball. Every time I visit your guys' place, it's packed with parents, packed with family and friends. You guys have a really good way of how you run things over there. And the camaraderie between players and coaches I wouldn't say it's unmatched, but I'd say it's definitely unique. Tell me a little bit about your experience with Northmont baseball and how it's been to play for Coach Rexon.
It's been great. I mean, he came in 2 years before my class came in, and had a rough first year and really turned it around that next one. And that right there just goes to show a lot about a coach and how he can flip a program from winning 3 games to going to 17 games. Uh, I mean, that's and that just kind of set the bar. The culture's different. Coach Rexon, he plans a lot, and he makes sure that his boys gets the best of whether it's the tools, whether it's drills and all that stuff. Make sure that we have a good place to practice, whether it's in the gym or we go to MVP. Um, and he makes sure to do a great job with the culture. It really helps because all 4 of our coaches are very similar. The same type of person. They're all big and swole. They're massive. And just back to the culture a little bit though. We us as Northmont guys go to girls soccer games, boys soccer games, football games. We're gonna go to basketball games, volleyball games, or volleyball matches. Like we're gonna go and support community, hoping that they are going to come and support us because that a lot of them did that last year. Um, and Rexon has told us many times to get involved with the community. And what better coach you want to play for that tells you to get involved with the community and hope that they can give back.
Yeah, I really like your guys' coaching staff. Ant and I are boys, so
Yeah.
Coach Turner's a dog. I love
Yeah.
that guy. Matt, from your perspective as a parent, tell us a little bit about what you think of Northmont baseball. I know that you're up in the press box,
Yep.
doing your thing.
Yep.
But yeah, give us a little bit of a background.
Uh, so when obviously we had Chuck Harlow
Yeah.
for years, and then there was a slight transition there with another coach, and then Coach Rexon came in, and I really feel as though he's doing what he can to make our program respectable again, and then some, right? I think he does a great job of making sure that our boys have the tools that they need to be successful, right? I also feel like he knows that he can only give them those tools. Whether or not they use them is up to them, right? And I think we'd probably be hard pressed to find a group of kids that work harder. I'm not saying other kids don't work as hard as our boys, but most of the time they're not going to get outworked, right? And and that comes from the coach. The coaches instill that expectation, and our boys follow through with it for sure. We've got a great group, this 26 class, really, really good group of boys. I most of them I consider my sons, right? Just great kids, really want to work, and I honestly don't think they care who does what, right? I think they care that they do it together, and that's pretty special in a high school team,
Yeah.
especially in a school the size of Northmont.
Yeah, so with the 2026 class, obviously we've been hearing for a couple years now that these 26s are coming at Northmont, right? Now you guys are headed into your senior year, with you and BC and BWIT and
Knuckleheads.
and Welchie, right? And all these guys. You guys did a pod, which was cool. But there's a couple others as well that don't play in our organization. Tell us a little bit about that because, like, we were in here talking the other day, and we were talking about the GWAC and this and that, and who's got this and who came back, and just having those conversations. And as special as P4 is, and as special as our relationships and our training is, and obviously training is the funnest part for me, there is something organically special about high school baseball where you play with your boys. So tell us a little bit about that 2026 group where you guys are always together and what this season's going to mean to you.
I mean, first off, it's the last ride, I don't see when we won district semis, I've never felt so good in a baseball game, not even summer ball. Like there's nothing better than winning a postseason game with your friends. We have big expectations this year. We lost a lot of seniors, lost a major one. And if he can get replaced, which I 100% believe that he can, we wouldn't skip a beat. So we're senior heavy. We have all seniors, junior, couple sophomores. I mean, the leadership's gonna be there. We one of the things we've been struggling with in the past has been a catcher, and I think Big Gage can really step up and do that. Our outfield's gonna be nasty. We have a lot of rotation in the infield. And then we have a lot of big hitters that can come up and swing for us. A
Yeah.
couple soft like Talon, and then we got Fister, Gavin, Troy, Colt can all pitch. Like there's just a lot of depth there, and I can come close. Obviously, BCB Wit 1 and 2. I mean, it's in my opinion there isn't a better 1-2 in G Walk,
Yeah.
but I can, that's biased, but
I definitely like the combo. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm on this side of the ball.
I've enjoyed the combo.
I'm glad I'm on this side for Brady Cannon and Brady Whitaker.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to face them. I'm glad I never have to face them.
Why'd you look at me in the eyes? I'm kidding. So you've been with our program, like Doug said, since 8th grade, 14U. Tell me a little bit about your journey with Coach Corbett and how that team has progressed over years.
Yeah.
I know that, BWIT and Welchie, they came on a little later. BC came on a little later. But the team is where it's at, and I love that group. I mean, you see that drone picture of
Oh, yeah,
of
that's
MPL.
great.
I mean, it was
That's great.
just a good group of guys, a lot of fun. So tell us a little bit about the team.
Yeah, starting off 8th grade year, Cap and Noah, two of my best friends, still here. They pretty much started with me. Noah's a little different, looks and is a little different now.
Yeah, a lot different.
But I mean, yeah, BC, BWIT, and Welch, they all came.
Yeah, B-Wit was freshman.
Witt came the year after I did, and then BC and Welch 2 years after I did.
Yeah.
And we're all sticking together. We added a few more kids this year, and we only really lost one player pretty much, Cooper. I mean, it's gonna be a tough one to get over, and it's gonna be a hard replacement, not even just from the ball player side, but from a brotherhood. He's one of the best, and I'm really happy that he's pursuing his dream, and he knows. I hope he knows every single one of us is gonna fight for him and support him, and I know because we know he'll do the same. But just coming up through that with Coach Corbett every year, I mean, I know he'll still be around every now and then. This year, he's got a family to take care of, but really, really appreciate everything he's done. He was my first hitting instructor.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of been through the program a little bit. Can't thank him enough. Coach Cavender, Jacob, pitching coach. That was
Cavender.
it was bad seeing him leave, but he's gonna stay in touch, and hopefully he can catch a game if he's not too busy. Everyone loved him for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And
And
then-
played for me.
Oh yeah,
So,
Venners, pretty self-explanatory. Great guy, I'm glad he's still gonna be around, coaching a younger team, giving them the same stuff he gave us, pregame jokes. And I really like Venner's energy. It was a great match with him, Corbett and
yeah,
Cavender.
him and Brian were a really good fit.
No doubt.
With the
I-
way
I
their
don't-
personalities.
I didn't see a better fit for us, honestly.
No, I love Tyler. I've known Tyler man, it's crazy. I've known Tyler since 8th grade. And, a lot of people have an opinion about Tyler, but
Till you get to know Tyler.
until you get to know Tyler, and Tyler's one of the greatest humans I think I've ever met. He's a good guy, great guy.
So I mean, you kind of brought up your thing with Noah. That's been one of my funnest dynamics in our program is the two of you because you love each other dearly. And I think the nice way to say it is the two of you don't do anything in life without competing against the other one.
No doubt.
Right? So it's like
100% true.
so it's like in the program, like we have a bunch of special players. This isn't a shot at anyone, but like you talk Bramble, you talk Sauber, right? And so you've been that way since you were in 8th grade.
Clash head to head.
Yeah, and you guys are the best of friends, but also ultimate competitors.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember when I was on my trip when the Akron thing happened and Noah called me and he went on for 10 minutes about how happy he was for Drake. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And I know you would do the same for him, you know, if when his right situation comes, right? So it's just so tell us a little bit about that dynamic of best of friends, but also ultimate competitors, right? And you know, you guys are always trying to push each other to be better. Tell us a little bit about that relationship. I've always found it was special.
Yeah, well, I mean, first and foremost, I'm excited. We're going to Indianapolis today for my birthday. We're going to see a glow in the dark baseball game. So, hey, we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, I mean, Noah's like my best friend, absolutely over anyone. Just the way that we compete with each other, it's in such a friendly way because at the end of the day, we know after we're done competing, we're gonna be best friends. We'll go
Right.
grab a bite to eat.
Mhm.
You know, he'll go stay the night at my house, or I'll go stay the night at his house. This and that. You know, since he turned him inside, stay at his house just so I didn't have to drive back and forth. It's just out of anyone in this building, if there was one person I would compete with for the rest of my life, it would be Noah Bramble. By the time we're 60, I'm sure we'll still be competing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can see
who
it.
who
Let's
stays
go back
alive?
to coach that adult.
Who stays alive longer? You know, I'm gonna.
So let
You
me.
know,
So I haven't done this as a player on here before, but because your relationship is so unique, if there's a college coach watching this, right, and you had to sell your boy Noah Bramble, what would you tell that college coach that they need to know about Noah?
a lot. Um, that kid's gonna outwork anyone you've ever seen. I mean, he's just from if you would see the transition from eighth grade when he was big Noah to now where he's fit Noah, it's just like the time and dedication he puts in, his time management is ridiculous. I mean, sometimes I don't even know how he does it, but if there was one thing I would tell a college coach is you're not going to find a kid that's going to work harder than Noah. And I truly believe that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he's going through his process right now. Obviously, you know, Noah is a kid I would bet my whole reputation on.
And
You know
he's
what
a
I mean?
great person.
Oh, great person. I mean, hell,
He's a people
he's
person.
he's a great player, but he's a heck of a person. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
great family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, family's awesome.
Incredible
You know what I
family.
mean, obviously, sister, they get it. Sister played college softball.
And they're just as competitive as him and I are.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, we played West last spring, and like they had stuff to do after you after the game. You got to clean the field up, and like Noah didn't even blink. He just came right over. He gave me a huge hug. He was always talking, talking to me.
Yep.
You know, Noah's one of the most respectful players in this building. He's like you said. I wouldn't say there's not a harder worker. You guys all work really, really, really hard.
Yeah, just in different areas.
But Noah just puts. I mean,
He puts it all
he
in.
puts it all on the line, dude. He
Every
really
Wednesday
does.
at 6, we're in a cage. I know that.
Yeah.
Like it's been, or
Never
that's been
change.
the thing for 8 years. It feels like. I mean, it's been 5, but
You're not lying about the development. Like watching the
It's
development.
an
Great.
but it's fun to see that 26 group, not just Noah, but like the work Brady Cannon's putting in right now.
Oh my gosh.
Dude he's changing. Like he had a massive offseason last year, and I called it on a pod that you know what I mean.
But it's only gotten better from there.
Dude, but
He's a dog.
He's in a different place right now. He's gonna make somebody really really happy.
He's going to upset a lot of people too.
Yeah.
I get the feeling somebody's going to look back and say, "Dadgummit, man, I should have taken that
He
kid."
can flat pitch, obviously, and I think we're going to see some serious velo spike this year as well with the work he's putting in. So a little bit about that. I kind of want to get more into the development and your relationship with one of our coaches, which you talked a little bit about, but we had not the way it deserves, in my opinion, is so your freshman sophomore year, it was D1 body, more athlete than skilled baseball player, right? And so we've gone through that, and I've told you that. Like, I've always been brutally honest with you. Whatever was said to you directly.
Correct.
There was no filler. There was no, I'm going to make him feel better about this. I'm just going to tell him the truth.
Right.
So we go through this process, and at one point in your high school career, I remember you put up a big swing and miss number, right? And over the last 18 months, you've cut it to 25% of what it was then. Like you don't swing and miss now, right? And everyone's like, oh, well, the swing and miss. Oh, the swing and miss. Well, it doesn't exist now, right? You know what I mean? Very often. So you've really cut that down. And I know a lot of that is some swing changes that you and Frankie made in the cage, grinding with his advanced hitting lessons and weekly hitting lessons. So tell us a little bit about what you and Frankie were focused on that helped lead to that improvement. And second, what Frankie means to you as a coach and an instructor.
I mean, yeah, Coach Valentine and I just talked about this too. Frank and I, for the past year and a half, probably really been working on the hands, working how to stay behind the ball, and how to really drive it, and push oppo. Whether because if like when you push oppo, it's going up the middle. If it's outside, it's going right center, right field. If it's inside, if I can catch it out in front, who knows? Maybe that thing's long gone.
Yeah.
But I mean, him and I's relationship has just been we've talked multiple times. There were some points we talked every day, whether it's him asking for stats, me asking for video to like sit and last year sit in class and watch over it, see what I can do better, kind of talk with him about it. There a lot of times I'm confused with things that he says because I haven't been around the game as much as he has, obviously. So I'm not afraid to ask him questions. If I don't understand something, I'm going to tell him I don't understand it and see if he can explain it to me more in depth. So I'm able to, next time he says something, I'm able to understand it. He sits behind the machine and just talks to me mid lesson, and I'd say 2 years ago I wouldn't understand what he's saying. Whether it's keep your hands out in front, stay behind the ball, you're catching it deep, like it's just
Yeah,
like,
that's one of the things I love watching you two work is you guys have these 1 or 2 word cues where he'll go behind the machine, you'll miss something, and he'll say one word, and then you see an instant adjustment from you because you know exactly what he means because you guys have had that conversation 6 times or
Yeah,
10 times, right?
yeah.
So yeah, so that was it's been really fun to see the growth and development. And as you went through these camps, obviously you hit really, really well at these different schools, hitting some bombs at certain places, other places stealing 77 bases, right? Or whatever it was. You know what I mean? So as you saw that process and that change, and for you it was tough because you and I had a conversation last year about, hey, he made some serious changes. You're going to have to be patient with his junior year. He's probably going to start slow.
Yep.
Right. But then you had to experience that as he was transitioning.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about what that was like from you as a parent.
Rough. you know, uh, I think every parent wants their kid to bat 1,000, right? Every parent wants their kid to hit for the cycle every game, right?
Some
One-
people's kids do.
One of
Like Mickey Anderson in his second college game.
right. Every parent wants to see their kid hit home runs.
Right.
Just talking to him, if he had a rough game or whatever, a lot of times, honestly, if he had a game he was 0 for 3 or whatever, I'd say something to him, about how he did offensively. And honestly, his first response was, I don't care. We won, you know. But just talking him through it. And again, it's not for me to criticize,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's for me to support and just tell him, hey, you know what? You might have struck out there, but man, that was a 7-pitch at bat, right? So understanding the game the way I do, because I watch a ton of baseball, I can't even begin to guess how many games I watch a year, whether it's college, high school, pro, whatever, right? Just for me, watching so much and understanding how all this works, I think it makes it easier for me to understand that, yeah, we're going to struggle at first. And then once he gets it, the thing with Drake is, in my opinion, is when something clicks, it clicks, right? It really does. Like Rexon said it best before in talking to him or something, like it was like one day Drake went from seemingly struggling to killing it.
Yeah, I think it was all
Right.
Miller Pro too.
It was 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
250 to 380.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing was, and 100% legit, what happened was he was struggling. He came and saw Frank, and I came down with him, because I felt like coming down with him that day. And we came down, we got in the car, and he said, man, I needed that. I said, oh, you guys worked on some stuff? He said, Yeah, my mental game. He said my mental approach was all off. And he said Frank and I talked, had a couple-minute conversation, and literally from that day on.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I think we did more talking than we did swimming.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's move on. We talked about Coach Frank, talked about Doug, we've talked about Sam. Another person that's really big into this journey is Juan Espinoza, top velocity. I could say from my own personal experience, watching you throw 97 confirmed from the outfield was insane. So tell us a little bit about your journey with Juan, and what he's meant to your journey as well.
I mean, yeah, when it really like truly started was 90-mile-an-hour dreams. Uh, yeah, I mean, he taught me to move my body to in throwing positions in ways I never thought was possible. Mobility was a big thing. Once I started doing more mobility, that's when I was able to get through the separation, turn my body and shift. Felt like it was shifting my bones. Like I just didn't even know it was possible. So that really helped me at like Olympic lifts, cleans, power cleans, jerks, all that stuff, progressive overload. During the summer, he put a 9-week lifting program with squats, bench, deadlift, and pull-ups and cleans. And I think that has really helped me from the beginning of summer until now. I feel I feel a lot stronger, athletic, just and I feel like it shows. I feel like I'm seeing it in me, and I feel like a lot of other people are as well. And any athlete knows like that's a really good feeling. Like people seeing the work. You don't have to go post it everywhere. You can work in silence and just let the results talk. Like you don't always have to do the talking. So I think Juan is as and he always brings the good vibes.
Yeah, one of my
Always.
favorite stories. I was in New Mexico at a Starbucks. This is a true story. Went on our vacation this year, and I get a text from Mike Eversole, and he goes, "Hey, Drake's throwing right now at Xavier. He just hit 79 on his heels." And I went. So I walked out of the Starbucks and I gave Jamie my card so all the girls could get their Starbucks coffee. I don't drink coffee, so I walk out. So I call him immediately. Like, what do you mean 79? Like, wherever he's at, tell him to get off the mound. Like, I'm thinking you're hurt. He goes, I was just messing with you. I was like, he hasn't done 79 since he was 14. It was so that was my favorites. But yeah, so you talk about confirmed 6'5", working with Sam. You're hitting stuff with Brian, myself, and Frank over the years, especially Frank lately.
Yeah.
You're a 90-mile-an-hour testimony on top B, 6'5", 60, 7th all time on the exit velocity leaderboard here, right on the all time list. 97 from the outfield, right? And you've hit the crap out of the ball this summer, right? And we're so much more consistent than you've been in the past with the toughest schedule we've ever played. Right? You've always hit better pitching, better, which is still weird to me, but
Right.
you've always hit the better pitching better. It doesn't make any sense, but that's you. So, so with all this process, because you've kind of went all in on this, you were never a part-timer. You always have been here 12 months out of the year and done the entire system. What advice would you give to that next P413 kid coming up that kind of, has questions about this and questions about how we do things and all those things? What advice would you give to those families?
I mean, if you have questions, this is the guy to go to. You can really go to him, Frank, Sam, whatever. If I would say besides that, I would get in the layer with Sam. I think that's where everybody should start out at, see where their athletic ability is, and see where you can progress. After you start working with Sam, you can start going to hitting with Frank, Doug, Venners, Kyle, and then fielding. If you're an infielder, go do field work with Sam and Venners. Have conversations with all of the coaches. Have conversations with everybody in this facility. It's not just you and the coaches in here. There's other families in here. I have multiple relationships with everybody in here. I'm always saying hi to somebody and them just recognizing that I'm here. It really makes me feel good. So I would want the same for your guys' kid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of my a couple things that you do in here probably my favorite thing you do, and I've said this to your parents.
Yep.
My favorite thing you do is how you interact with the 9 UP4 guy, right? Because you give them the time of day, right? And you always have a conversation with them and ask them how they're doing and all that stuff. And then like you'll walk away and not think anything of it because that's just Drake, and they'll brag to me that Drake's their friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite things. Well, and the other thing I really enjoy is your conversations with Xavier Turner, right? Because you guys have that kind of outside, like he hasn't been your coach.
He's never trained me, but
Yeah.
I'll have a conversation
But,
with him
like,
any day of the week.
I like standing next to you too when you guys talk ball, I guess is, and that's one of my other things that I really like. I know you and Xavier have a really good relationship. So yeah, I appreciate the advice to the players.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, absolutely. So I kind of wanted to address you guys like individually. If you had anything to say, I think that you guys have supported each other through this journey, right? You've been there for each other. If you had anything to say to your dad, if you haven't already, obviously you have.
Right.
What would it be that you'd say?
On the spot question, I would need a little bit. I mean, just other than thank you and that I love you very much. Just want to appreciate through all the time and effort time, effort, and money you've put in for me. Same with mom. Thank you very much. Love you, mom. And just I want to just say that I really appreciate you and that hope that you can stay supporting me throughout everything else.
And how about you?
Man, you're good. Get me here,
Making-
Kyle.
yeah,
Not trying to.
If it makes you feel any better, you got Eric Halter too.
yeah.
I'm just honored.
Yeah, give me two, bro.
Yeah.
No, it's great, man. I mean, seeing you guys, we didn't really get to talk about it, but the dad group.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, Brad,
P4.
all those guys.
Those are my boys.
Seeing you guys support your sons the way you do it's awesome for us to see stuff like that.
And I think they equally support every kid.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Yep.
They're all
Yep.
family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad Cannon,
BFFAE.
great friend. Justin Whitaker, great friend. Josh Welch, great friend. Just
Best friend forever.
everybody.
Best friend forever and ever.
Yeah.
Just great guys. I wouldn't want any other guys around my boys.
I guess the next question I would have is the final one. Well, Drake's already done this, so now we have to put you on the hot seat, right?
Yeah.
If there's one thing you could change about the game we all love to improve it, what would that thing be?
So I'm gonna kind of give two answers on this at two different levels. The first at the pro level, the 2 throw over rule for the pitchers, I think is dumb. I think it gives a huge advantage to the base runner, and that's why I'm not really super impressed with the 40 steal season anymore. Because if they throw over there twice, that they can't throw over there unless they're going to get you. Right. So that gives a huge advantage to the runner. I don't like that at all. And then at the youth level, I don't like the thought process from some parents that it feels like if my son doesn't play enough or my son doesn't get this or that, then they're going to go out and start their own team and water down the competitive level of baseball. I think there's a place for each kid at the youth level. And I feel like when there are kids that probably shouldn't be at I hate to say travel baseball level, but the travel baseball level, and then those kids get discouraged. And you don't want that. You don't want to do that, right? You want a kid to be at the level that he's going to be competitive enough to make him better, right?
Also enough for him to enjoy it.
Yeah, they've got to enjoy it, right? Drake didn't play, he played in the ELL, Inglewood Little League until he was 12 years old, right? And I wouldn't change it. When you made the comment about Drake being raw earlier, Drake hasn't had the organized instruction for the amount of time that these other kids have had, and I think that's benefited him a ton.
Yes.
Right? Because he was able to stay at the more enjoyable level and then now compete. What happens before your freshman year of high school doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. Play somewhere that your kid's going to have fun, and they're going to get instruction. They're going to get better. Don't get me wrong. But the real competitive and the real time that it starts to mean something is their freshman year of high school.
Yeah. No, I love that.
He's been waiting. Yeah, I promise you, he's been thinking of that answer since the first podcast.
Oh, I love that.
I can guarantee you.
Yeah. And even the little mention of ELL, man, that brings back some memory.
Oh
Some
my
JDs after. You know what I'm
I
saying?
played ELL.
Yeah, I played 1 year there, and it was I played the fall hitting league where they machine fed. I loved it. It was
I
amazing.
played there at 10 and 11.
Yeah.
That's back when you had to. Back then, it was real fun because you had like
Yeah.
10, 11, and 12. Back then, anyway, ELL. You had major because there was enough players to do it. Major, AAA, AA,
Yep.
and you did like a tryout, and coaches selected you. So I was one of the 10-year-olds that got to play major, and I felt like $1 million.
Yep. And that's
You know what I mean?
awesome.
Yeah, I felt like
Right.
$1 million.
That's amazing. And that's what I'm saying. I think kids lose that stuff now because they're so focused on trying to get on a select team.
Yeah, that are
Or
just
whatever.
people pleasing, like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's just
Yeah, because they want to say that my son plays on this team. Or
We always went to
this, that,
Marion's,
right.
though. JDs didn't exist, I don't think, when I played there.
No.
oh,
Well, I mean, ELL was the first time that.
sorry, we weren't around when dinosaurs were walking around.
Well, I was, but
ELL was the first time the Bubbies, Gage
Oh,
Garrett and
yeah.
I met, and that's just carried on ever since.
Yep.
So
Cool.
No, that's awesome. But that's about all the time we have today. I just wanted to thank you guys. I appreciate everything that you've done for us as a program. You know, it's really great that, you know, I wouldn't have a job like this if it wasn't for families like you guys. Being able to do the things that I do on a day in and day out basis, and, you know, be with Doug, and it's all because of families like you guys. So I really appreciate that, and appreciate you coming on the show today.
we always appreciate you guys.
thank
Absolutely.
you guys very much
Yep.
for everything you've
Thank
done
you.
for my son, our family. That's
And,
really
and what
appreciate it.
you're still doing for my boys. So
We haven't got the fun part yet.
Yeah, we ain't done with them
The fun part is
it's
when
just beginning.
the fun part's when I get to go up to Akron and hang out with your dad and give him crap during the game, and
Yep.
it's not my responsibility to coach you.
Man, that's all right.
Yeah.
And then we can heckle the coaching staff at Akron.
Yeah. you guys can.
Yeah, you can.
I wouldn't advise that.
No, not in your not a good idea. But if you guys want to see more stuff like this, make sure you follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple, and to never miss a notification on our social media accounts. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All right, boys.
All right, thank you.
It's America's favorite pastime. Come on, let's have a good time. Slinging seeds. Yeah, we're just slinging seeds.